Well, welcome back to Cottage Farmstead. If we haven't met before, I'm Rebecca. And a couple months ago, I shared what we got in our Azure Standard haul, and y'all seem to really enjoy seeing what we got in our monthly box, especially as a small family and how we handled our long-term food storage. So I thought I'd take you along today as I unbox our Azure order and restock our working pantry here in the farmhouse kitchen. So first up in the box is einkorn flour. I got 3 bags of their all-purpose einkorn flour as I have been experimenting with doing long fermentation of this wheat grain, and so far I've been able to handle digesting it even though I do have gluten sensitivities. It seems to be more with modern wheat, and this is an ancient grain that has not been hybridized or genetically modified or anything like that. So far so good on this. And I actually picked up a book at the library called Einkorn and How to Cook With It. That is by the founder of the company that I've been getting this flour from. There are a whole bunch of recipes in here, from cupcakes to bread to hamburger buns to cupcakes, pretty much anything that you ever wanted to make with a alternative ancient grain flour. You can find a recipe in here. Einkorn does bake up a little bit differently than regular wheat, as its gluten structure is a little bit differently. It absorbs water a little differently. So this has been really helpful for teaching me how to bake with einkorn flour, and I will link to this book down below in case you're interested in checking it out as well. So next up is gluten-free pasta. It's from the same company that sells the einkorn flour. They are an Italian family and they make really delicious pasta. You would not even know that this is gluten-free. It's so good. I used up my last box of shells on some macaroni last month, so I got another one to put back in my pantry for next time. I also got a bag of whole buckwheat groats, as I do bake with buckwheat as well as a gluten-free alternative flour. I really enjoy the nutty flavor this provides, and I opened my most recent 5-pound bag, so I needed to restock my pantry, so I got another 5-pound bag of those. And of course, we got our monthly supply of chocolate. I buy their darkest chocolate chips that they have. I think this is like 75% cacao. And this is what we nibble off of, bake with, make hot chocolate out of. So I got another 5-pound bag of this for Nathan and I. So this is something new that I haven't purchased before. Last year I purchased the trace mineral drops to put into our drinking water once or twice a day, as we are on well water and the filtration system pulls a lot of the beneficial minerals out of the water. But I saw that the same company has an electrolyte concentrate. The last few years we've been trying to use a powder and mixing it, but even before the summer's over, our powder has solidified and it makes it pretty difficult to make our electrolyte solution. Farmer Nathan is out in the sun and the heat all summer long and needs extra electrolytes. And I found that even just the trace minerals helped me when I was getting dehydrated last summer. So I saw the same company made an electrolyte blend that has the trace minerals as well as a few of the electrolytes like potassium in it. And I figured I could add this to our kombucha, or maybe make some compote, or mix this into juice to have our own homemade Gatorade substitute. And lastly is a replacement bottle of their dish soap. This is probably the best natural dish soap that I have found, that actually cleans the dishes and gets the grease off of them. So I usually buy a bottle of this every quarter or so, and I was getting low, so I got one to restock up on. And as I was getting ready to put all of this away, I remembered that I had one more thing that I stuck in the freezer as soon as I got home, as it arrived frozen, and that is some Polish sausage. So I've mentioned on here before that I have a glutamate sensitivity, and that's why I can't have gluten. I can't have too many tomatoes. I have to be careful how meat is cooked and what processed foods or prepared foods that I am able to consume. And kielbasa was one of my favorite quick dinners to put together, but none of the kielbasa at the store is something that I can eat. They have added things like maltodextrin or yeast extract or MSG to their sausage to make it taste better as a flavor enhancer, but I can't eat it. So I was very excited to find that Azure had a brand of Polish sausage that is just the meat and the spices, and it is something that I can eat. I'm actually planning on frying this up this weekend to have for our lunches the first half of next week. So one of the things that I like to do on Azure Haul days is to restock my working pantry up here in our kitchen. As things get low, as you see, I'm almost out of salt. My baking soda is getting a little low. There's a few of these items that I've gone through more in this past month than others. So things just need to be restocked up here. So since I'm already gonna be going up and down to the basement to our main pantry a couple times when I get our Azure Haul, I will just take a piece of paper and write down anything that I need refilled up here so that when I go down the stairs with my bulk pantry items, I'm coming upstairs with my arms full of things to refill up here to make my trips up and down the stairs much more efficient. So for the herbs that I need to refill here, I am using what we saved from our own garden for the most part. So I grew parsley last year, basil, and some oregano, and dehydrated them in the late spring, early summer last year, and I've been gradually refilling them throughout the winter. I'm getting low on oregano as that's an herb that I use a lot in our cooking, but it looks like I'm going to have plenty of parsley to see me through the next harvest. But the oregano might be something I need to put on the grocery list since I am running a little bit low and we use a lot of it. I also discovered when going through my pantry that I am out of celery. We are growing our own celery this year, but it is not ready yet for me to harvest and dehydrate, so I'm going to need to put this on my grocery list so that I don't run out. Well, thank you for joining me for this month's Azure Haul and Pantry Refill. I hope you enjoyed a behind-the-scenes peek of how I manage our working pantry here in the farmhouse kitchen. If you have any other homestead, organization, farmhouse kitchen questions, feel free to comment them down below. I'm happy to share more of how I manage and systematize our farmhouse and homestead. With that, I'll catch you next time.